This is a production of PBS Charlotte.
This weekend Off the Record, Charlotte police say it started with violence at 3 CMS high schools. It ended with the shooting death of a 3-year-old boy. What the cops, the schools, and the NAACP are doing about it. Lots of COVID stories to talk about this week as usual, starting with the president saying he'll order most employers to require vaccines. This after Charlotte crime fighters and firefighters promised to fight City Hall if they're forced to get vaccinated. Vax rates, meanwhile, are up for minorities, but so are North Carolina virus rates, and COVID hospital cases haven't been this high since before the vaccine. Also, Mecklenburg County says now you'll have to wear a mask at church, too. And big stadium crowds in Charlotte, great for business last weekend. But what if last weekend turns into a college football triple-header super spreader? Plus, big changes coming to Plaza Midwood, but not every neighborhood wants to become another South End. Lots to talk about next on PBS Charlotte. And from our PBS Charlotte studios in historic Plaza Midwood, I'm Jeff Sonnier, and we're off the record, talking about the stories you've been talking about this week. And if you watch the news, read the news, and listen to the news, well, you'll recognize the names and faces around our virtual table. Dedrick Russell from WBTV, Christina Bowling from the Charlotte Ledger, and Steve Harrison from WFAE. You can also join the conversation anytime. Just email your questions and comments to offtherecord@WTVI.org. I want to start the show this week with a quote. Here's the quote. How can you wake up in the morning knowing that your actions last night took the life of a 3-year-old? That was Chief Johnny Jennings, the police chief, at a press conference at police headquarters this week, talking about the teen violence on the streets and in the schools that have somehow intertwined and made it a terrible week for the families of 2 victims, and also a frightening week for the kids who go to those high schools and for the families of those kids. Dedrick, you follow schools for us. Let's start with you this week. What exactly is going on?
I wish we knew exactly what was going on, if we can put our finger on it, but evidence shows and investigators show that whatever happens in these students, in the communities of these students, it spills over and it goes into the schools. You know, so far this school year, 5 weapons found on school campuses, and now police are connecting the death of that 3-year-old to things that are happening in those high schools. So now people are stepping up. And the community is saying that, hey, if you know something, say something, because somebody knows what happened and somebody has to know who is responsible for shooting about 150 rounds inside one house, killing a 3-year-old and injuring that a 4-year-old. So CMS is trying to do all it can, but the bottom line is that the appeal goes out to parents. Parents, you need to figure out what your children, what they are doing. You need to check their book bags to see if they have guns, if they have been out late at night. So it's going to take a community effort to fight this, because CMS and police, you know, they can't do it by themselves.
Steve?
Yeah. You know, I think it's it was an interesting week and so tragic with what happened with the 3-year-olds, and then coupled with the homicide in Optimist Park, right, of the Hurricane Ida evacuee from New Orleans. I can't remember a week like this in recent years, and I'll be curious to see politically whether there is a push on city council, whether there is a push in the community for more policing, for more aggressive policing. Because remember, over the last decade, CMPD has really kind of changed or backed off. Police is now with a much lighter touch than they used to. Arrests are down. You know, if you go back a decade ago, CMPD made about 32,000 arrests a year. They're on track this year for about 12 or 13,000. That's kind of a decision that the community has, the city council and the community generally supports. But it's kind of weeks like this, tragedies like this, that it'll be interesting to see.
I could say something real quick.
Whether that brings about a change.
Christina?
Yeah, so I mean, really, this is there's never obviously a good time for this kind of crisis in a school district, but this is, for CMS another challenge as they get the school year off to a start. That already, they're seeing a lot of challenges with having to make up for what happened last year with schools being closed for so long. So for CMS, this is just another hurdle that they're going to really need to dig into.
And Dedrick, they keep tying this violence back to 3 high schools: Hopewell, North Mecklenburg, and Chambers High. And if you've seen that video of the shooting scene where the 3-year-old died, it's just chilling. You see 2 cars pull up, you see 2 people get out of each car, and then the flashes from the muzzle of those guns over and over and over again. It goes on for 30, 40 seconds, just constant gunfire before they jump back in the cars and drive off. It's almost, it's movie-like, but this is not a movie. This is real and really troublesome and dangerous for the kids involved, for the neighborhoods involved. How does CMS deal with something like this?
They are asking the community and pleading with the community. Of course, they're going to have extra counselors there. They're going to have extra police presence there. They're going to have random weapons checks there. But they can only do but so much. But that's why they are imploring parents to make sure you help keep your child safe inside those schools. And, we talked to Council Member Malcolm Graham about this, and he brought up an interesting point saying that, that communities, they march for social justice. They're saying that now this is a time for communities to march to say, hey, that we need to keep peace in our streets. And one other thing that, interesting, the NAACP, said that maybe these are at-risk students doing this, but and this is a sad part because no suspects have been identified, and before suspects have been identified, we've already labeled and said that maybe these kids are at risk, and that's just a stereotype that that children who are at risk, who are doing the right thing, and just to put a blanket statement that these are at-risk students, and we don't know yet because no one has been arrested. So I just thought that was very interesting that they already put that out there, even when no suspects have been arrested.
Yeah, a couple of things. Huntersville police are now monitoring social media because apparently a lot of this violence has its roots in social media disputes that wind up spilling into the school hallways and then ultimately into the streets of these kids after school. And so the police are getting involved in some unorthodox ways. And again, as you mentioned, the NAACP calling for help from CMS for at-risk students, but also recognizing that this is a problem. Steve, you mentioned it earlier about the call for more policing when things like this happen. We've talked about tipping points on this show in the past. Last year it was the murder rate that was going sky high. Would that be enough for politicians and city leaders to act? Here's another tipping point. And again, when a 3-year-old dies and there's video to show how he died, I mean, that's, if you haven't seen it, it really gives you a grim realization of what's going on there. Your thoughts on whether this is something that could push city leaders, to do something where they haven't maybe done something in the past?
I think that's a really good question, and we don't know. I mean, like I said before, Jeff, the general consensus on city council and CMPD is to police with a lighter touch, to focus on violent crime as opposed to kind of smaller issues. Now, the flip side is that there are people who argue that when police focus on kind of small crimes, it leads to a reduction in bigger crimes. And so that has certainly been the philosophy over the last 10 years at CMPD. But yeah, like you said, will tragedies like this kind of cause a reassessment? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Dedrick, you want to wrap us up here?
Yeah, I do. And the bottom line is that safety is top priority, but also teaching and learning, suffering because of this, because parents have called us, and I've talked to parents where they're keeping their kids home from school because the parents are concerned about their child's safety going to those several high schools. So, while we're trying to hunt down the murderer, teaching and learning is still suffering because this is the third year where teaching and learning is happening during a pandemic. And this is another school year where it's happening during increased violence. So something has got to give because we got to save this generation.
Yeah, these are the kinds of stories you wish you didn't have to talk about, but they seem to keep coming up over and over again in this town, and you can't ignore them. You really can't ignore them. We're not ignoring COVID either. It's a topic every single week, and this week let's start off that discussion with what the president said yesterday, that apparently he's going to put forward an order that would institute OSHA rules that would require most employers to mandate vaccines for their employees. Christina, I know the Ledger watches the business community pretty closely. Any thoughts on how this is going to affect local employers in particular?
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing really a steady uptick in the number of employers that are mandating vaccines for their workforce. I mean, it's such a big issue in terms of getting offices back open and having people feeling comfortable coming back to work, and so we're really, the numbers just keep going up in terms of businesses that say, hey, listen, if you're going to be part of our in-person community, you're going to vaccinate, and that's just going to be a requirement of your employment.
Yeah, and it kind of, I guess, gives those businesses, it kind of gets them off the hook. I mean, before, they'd had to deal with employees that were resisting this sort of thing. Now, you can either blame or credit the president for mandating this for large employers. I guess that does kind of make it easier for some of these employers who haven't been so sure on how to approach this particular subject, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. When we did reporting about this just a couple of months ago, we talked to a lot of kind of employment experts, and they said, well, it's going to be hard for companies, for businesses to mandate, their employees to do, to take a vaccine. There's going to be a lot of hesitance about it, but boy, things have changed a lot in a couple months. Now we're seeing a point where, for large employers, it's almost, for a lot, it's just so prevalent right now. And it's pretty hard to imagine that just a couple months ago, we were thinking that would be very hard for employers to do, to say to their workforces, get the shot or head out the door.
Yeah. Dedrick?
Yeah, some of this, it may work because we know Delta Airlines, they said that if you don't get the vaccine, then we're going to add $200 to your health care. And, so far they're saying that because of that mandate, it increased, 20% more people got the vaccine. So, while some people are concerned about this, I guess the president says that he's looking at the bigger picture. He says we want kids to stay in school. We want our economy to bounce back. And in order for that to happen, more people have to get vaccinated. So a lot of governors have already, and politicians have already spoken out against this, saying that this is not the America that we want, that free choice should happen. But also people want to have a choice to live as well.
Yeah, before the president spoke, the FOP, the group that represents Charlotte police officers, and the Firefighters Association, they sent a letter to City Hall, and they're not too pleased with the concept of being forced into a vaccination. Steve, I don't know if what the president said this week changes that or not, but what's your sense on the pushback from some of the larger work groups within City Hall on this?
Yeah, so it was like you said, it was the police union, the firefighters union, and also a public service union that represents a lot of workers in solid waste, Charlotte Water, some transit employees. So, and they said that no, we do not agree with mandates. But again, this story moves so fast that just a few days later, the president comes out and issues his own mandate. I think that the city and the county will be coming with their own mandates soon because their vaccination rates are not particularly good. The city of Charlotte, I believe, was at 63% partially vaccinated. That was below the county average, below the state average. And you think, kind of a lead by example way that perhaps the city and the county should be higher. The county this week put out its own survey. I believe they were at 66%. They patted themselves on the back, comparing themselves, saying their vaccination rate was higher. But of course, they compared themselves to kind of the overall county vaccination rate, including children. Now, Mecklenburg County does not employ children, so they should really be comparing their vaccination rate to that of the adults in the county, and then that makes them about the same. So no real standouts in local government.
Yeah, department by department, the numbers are kind of interesting. I know Medic, it's above 80%, and that's to be expected since they're the folks on the front lines and understand the seriousness of the disease and the reason for the vaccine. But Charlotte Fire Department, 49% vaccination rate. The police department, 63% vaccination rate. Is it your sense that this is kind of a moot point now? If this is going to be federally mandated, and that all large employers, all employers of more than 100, are going to have to require the vaccine, that this promise of a fight is kind of moot now at City Hall?
I think so. Yeah, I think there'll be pressure from City Council, county commissioners, and I think that we'll be seeing mandates in the city and county coming soon. I mean, you mentioned the fire department. They really pulled down the city's average. They're the second largest department in the city. They have 1,200 employees. And when they were at 49%, that was a big, like I said, that really pulled everyone down.
Yeah. Nedrick?
Yeah, and speaking of the Charlotte Fire Department, there's not, everybody is not giving pushback on this. I talked to a member from the Fraternal Order of Progressive Firefighters, and that is mainly a group of Black and brown firefighters here in Charlotte. And they say that, hey, we encourage our people to get vaccinated, and there will be no pushback. That if there is a mandate, that we will not, complain or push back. So it's just interesting how some first responders are, giving pushback, and then other first responders are saying that, no, we agree, we're with you 100%. So it'll be interesting that even though the organization came out with pushback, it's just interesting if we would take a poll of everybody who is a part of that organization, if they feel the same way as the leadership feels.
Yeah. Hey, one last question to you, Christina. This order by the president is going to affect all large employers, 100 employees or more. I guess that's going to put some pressure on smaller employers, smaller businesses as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so. I think that think about small workplaces and the proximity that people have to each other even, and so, I think in a lot of cases, small businesses are going to feel like they need to also get lockstep with what's happening on the larger scale.
Yeah.
So I would expect that we'll see more of that.
Yeah, just a couple of numbers on vaccination rates, by the way. Atrium said this week that their vax rate for Black and Hispanic patients doubled between June and August compared to December through June, which is good news because those are underrepresented groups, obviously, in the vaccination world. But statewide, we're seeing the infection rate up above 15% now, and apparently we're at the hospitalization right now very close to where we were back in January when we thought the vaccine was at its peak, but apparently it's peaking again, and that means more folks in the hospital as well, and that's a shame. Steve, you covered County Commission this week, and they extended or expanded, I guess, their mask mandate to an area that they haven't really dipped their toe into before. Talk about what's going on now in the churches.
That's right. So when the county instituted its mask mandate last month, they had a specific exemption for indoor religious services as well as funerals and weddings. And they did that because they didn't feel they were on solid legal ground to require people at religious services to wear masks. That was always, a really cautious decision they made because the law, it's unclear how courts would have ruled. Courts have said that the mass gathering limits placed on churches and other religious services were unconstitutional. But no one's really determined whether you can force people to wear masks. And so you had a group of commissioners who really pushed back on that. And it was a 5-4 vote to remove that exemption and require people at religious services to wear masks. George Dunlap, the commission chair, voted no. He felt like it was government overreach. He tweeted yesterday, I was kind of looking at it just now, I believe he said that Jesus wouldn't have to wear a mask. So this was a really tight vote. And, one more thing. It's interesting. You had this huge fight when the county was making private schools, private religious schools wear masks. They felt like that was within their purview to do that, but then not churches. So it never made a lot of sense. It wasn't particularly consistent.
I know the churches say they do a pretty good job of policing themselves, but we have to remember last year, the biggest outbreak that Mecklenburg has seen with COVID was at a church. The United House of Prayer had 200 cases, 12 deaths, and led a lot of people to wonder whether, at one point we had no church services at all. So anyway, this mask mandate, I guess, it's not official yet, but it will be official soon. When can the actual rule, when can we expect that to take place, Steve?
I believe it's going to be later this month. And, just one more thing to add to that. Back a month ago, before Mecklenburg did its new mask mandate, Orange County and Durham County did one as well. They did not have exemptions for churches. They were saying it applied to everyone. So
they're not, Mecklenburg not necessarily out front on this, but maybe following the leader on other counties that have done it successfully. Hey, one last COVID item to talk about this week. Last weekend's big football weekend was a lot of fun. Full stadium crowds, exciting games, good for business. But the health director said this is not COVID friendly. This is not the kind of an event that she could endorse when she saw those crowds and those mostly unmasked crowds. I know the president's speech talked about also part of his plan is going to be vaccinations or negative tests required for large entertainment venues. Any thoughts on what's that going to mean for stadium concerts coming this fall, the Panthers, which kick off this Sunday? Is that the expectation that this is where we're headed on this? I know some of the big concert promoters are doing this already. Anyone have thoughts on last weekend or what's coming beyond this weekend? I guess we just have to. I guess we just have to wait, because I guess the Clemson and Georgia game sold out. 70,000 people, fans. So I guess 14 days we will see what will happen. Yeah. And there were, and Romare Bearden Park, ESPN College Classic there. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But it'd just be interesting to see how many people who did arrive there, if they were already vaccinated, and if they were already taking precautions. Yeah. But this will be the telltale sign, because I just look at the musical concert in Chicago, where thousands of fans were there, and experts said that it really was not a super spreader event. So we just have to see. Yeah. The bottom line is everyone just has to do the right thing. And I guess we're getting the haves and the have-nots. If you do not have the vaccine, you cannot do what other people who do have the vaccine have. And I guess that is a message that is one of the perks of getting vaccinated and getting your shots, because once you do that, then you'll be able to enjoy some type of a sense of normalcy. Yeah, you saw those crowds, and they were having fun, but you hope it was safe fun. I was actually at the UNCC Duke game, and they have a sign saying you have to wear a mask to get in line, the ticket line, to go through the gates. But once you're in the stadium, there was virtually nobody wearing a mask. And so, like, as you said, if they've been vaccinated, hopefully we won't see super spreader statistics coming. But that's a fingers crossed situation right now, I suppose. This week in Plaza Midwood, a big announcement for a big development that on paper looks terrific, but some of the neighbors not so excited about what they're seeing coming to their neighborhood. Christina, I know the Ledger's written about this week, and about the concept of neighborhoods seeing big development coming in and changing those neighborhoods. What are your thoughts on what's going on in Plaza Midwood?
Yeah, so basically what's going on is it's 12 acres right in the heart of Plaza Midwood, right there at Central and Pecan. And right now, if you go there, it's there are businesses, and it's a large surface parking lot that people are afraid to park in because they often get towed. And so what will take its place will be just a really big development, mixed use. It'll have a boutique hotel, it'll have retail, it'll have a large apartment space. And so it's just really going to change, of course, the look and the feel of that area. Like any large development, especially in an area of town like Plaza Midwood, that has its own charm, it has its own feel, it has its own community. Not everybody's in love with this idea. Plaza Midwood is really kind of its own space in our city, and people who live and work there say that this feels a little bit South Endy to them. Yeah, it sure looks and sounds like a South End style project, and we've heard the same sort of thing up in NODA as well, with other similar type projects, right? That's right. I mean, NODA, NODA and Plaza Midwood, both, they have very individual characters, right? In Charlotte, in NODA, there's a plan to put a mixed-use development that would look sort of like the Centro Rail Yard in South End. And, people who live in NODA say that they chose that community because they like its character. They like its mill houses. They like what has already been done with rehab space like Optimist Hall. And they say, hey, if we wanted to live in a South End, we would have moved to South End. And so there's, kind of the same discussions happening there. Yeah,
that's a discussion that will continue to happen as these neighborhoods become more and more popular with developers. By the way, this particular developer is the same one that's doing the Eastland Mall project as well. So they've got some history here in Charlotte. They're a Charlotte-based developer as well. Hey, a couple seconds left. Just wanted to talk about man versus machine. The Ledger did a race this week between the new streetcar line and an actual runner. And the results are what?
Well, runner beat the machine, believe it or not. We had an attorney who is an avid runner here in Charlotte. We started out at 7:30 in the morning last week. She took off. She actually gave the train a small head start. She beat it by almost 8 minutes. She crushed it. She crushed the machine. What we found is runners can keep running, even though, that streetcar has to go behind, get stopped by traffic. Runner needed to stop at stoplights, but when traffic slowed, she could keep running.
So I guess the lesson learned there is take the streetcar, but if you can run, you'll probably get there quicker, right?
You just might need a shower when you arrive.
Yeah. Hey, we're out of time, folks, but I do appreciate you all joining us this weekend. Good discussion, and thanks for joining us at home as well. If you want to send your comments or questions to us, just address them to offtherecord@WTVI.org. Thanks for joining us this time around, and we'll see you next time around right here on PBS Charlotte.
A production of PBS Charlotte.